Yeah, Nick's talking about his fancy Honda Sonata or Hyundai Sonata having the child seat clips, which he doesn't know, but he doesn't know that every single car has those.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
And whose team is this? Is this your team? Or is this your daddy's team?
Thanks for listening to Dad Mode Podcast. Common sense parenting in a politically correct world. Here's your host, Andy Carlson.
Welcome back to the Dad Mode Podcast, Common Sense Parenting in a Politically Correct World, as Nick mumbles in the background. I'm your host, Andy Carlson, at Andy Carlson Show on the Twitter machine. I'm a father, and I have no idea what I'm doing, but you don't either there, Poppy. Let's try and learn something together today. Aye, Poppy. Website is dadmodepod.com, Twitter at dadmodepod, or just use the hashtag dadmode. Like I already alluded to, Uncle Nick is lurking in the background. He's on Twitter at Nickason. Hey.
I'm not looking. I'm just sitting here. I didn't realize you were starting when you do your intro. You just kind of like, and go. Hey, welcome back.
That's now, do you remember the SNL digital short, Creep? I'm a creep.
Oh, yeah, with, what's their names? Lonely Island?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like your anthem.
Whoa, I'm not a creep. I don't know how to say my distance, my 500 yards away.
Your court order distance.
Stupid court.
All right, so making the unsmooth transition, talking about Nick's court-ordered restraining orders to one single-child families versus multi-child families. Now, we each have a horse in this race. I'm an only child. Nick, you have a brother, so technically you are a multi-one. And, the wife and I are also discussing, like, how many kids we wanted to put on this earth. Probably more than the one, maybe not, or probably less than 20, because they all turn out to be creeps who have Ashley Madison accounts.
That one creep that has an
Don't tell me that those other kids are normal. Get the hell out of here.
I know nothing of the Dugas. I never watched that show. I don't care to give them any of my time at all. Just, that's 19 kids is a lot of effing kids. I'm sorry. That's just so many kids, and you really need that big of a family?
Well, the wife is a huge fan of the show, even though that they're canceled. And I agree that the family does have a lot of good values and stuff like that. But as with anything that's very hardcore religious, there's some very off-putting culty aspects to it. They're part of the Quiverful movement, which is, and they're friends with a bunch of other families who are as well, which is basically have as many kids as you possibly can, and then eventually will outnumber all the terrible people in this world. It's irrational.
That's so irrational.
Well, if you think about it, if each family doesn't have 20 kids, say it has 10 kids, which can be relatively common in those parts of the country, and then they have 10 kids, and then they have 10 kids, eventually you got a pretty sizable movement.
Oh my God, it's giving me nightmares. No.
Yeah.
No.
Now, we're not subscribers of the Quiverful movement, which is, I think it means something about arrows. But the wife and I have talked about, we would like to have multiple kids, because I was an only child, and I'm kind of odd. I feel like only children, even though they have tons of friends around growing up, like I did, they don't have the brother bond, brother sister bond. They don't have like that sibling attachment. Whereas she came from a family of 3. She's the middle kid. She has a brother and a sister, and just looking at them, they have really close-knit bonds because they all grew up under the same roof. And I definitely want that for Muggsy and other kid TBD. But we talked about 2 kids. Seems pretty normal. 3 kids I think would be my maximum.
There are pros and cons. I think of obviously having multiple kids. I think the biggest one, coming from like a non-parent perspective who looks at money, is that when you have more than one kid, you're gonna have twice the costs. And another thing is what I see with when you have siblings, you're gonna have a lot of arguments. You're gonna have a lot of so and so. Well, his is like that. Well, his is this, and she's is like this.
Well, I
Blah,
feel like
blah.
those would be your arguments because you were a bratty little kid growing up.
You know what? I was not brat. Oh, okay, a little bit. Okay.
All right, well,
I was spoiled brat.
but you and your brother, like, how close are you guys age-wise?
Okay, so we were 6 years apart, so we weren't holding hands, talking all the time, brothers. You know,
You weren't dating the same chicks?
No, we were not dating the same chicks.
No. He's a senior. You're in, like, 7th grade. You find a nice little freshman, nice little medium.
That would be awesome. Me dating older and my brother dating younger. I feel like in the back of my head, I feel like that's how it should have came out, but no, it's we weren't too close though. It wasn't until being an adult, getting through high school, middle school was I think when both our maturity levels were a lot better. You know, we have a really close bond now, and you know, I talk to my brother all the time now. So, as growing up in that crucial kid stage, you know, I think the age gap was big enough where I almost felt like an only child sometimes.
Yeah, I actually read that. I read that on a parenting blog that if the gap is more than 5 years, it's essentially like having separate only children.
So technically, I guess we're both on that one kid side, I guess.
Maybe that explains why you're both the way you are.
Hey, I'm kind of normal.
Hey,
I'm
this
not
is coming from
totally-
another only child, and I completely understand it. But you know, you do see like the bonds of siblings who are only a couple years apart, because I think the wife's brother is the oldest. I think they're only 2 years apart, and then her younger sister is only 2 years apart as well. So that's also what the wife is shooting for. Like, if we're gonna have multiple kids, they should be in relatively close proximity. Which I don't know. Like, the expenses of the first kid, like you're talking about earlier, really makes you pump the brakes on, you know, the second and third kid right away, because it's like boom, boom, boom. And I don't think I'm ready for the minivan life.
Well, yeah, you have to think about how nowadays it's not a minivan anymore; it's SUV. That's the new thing. I mean, you could even almost go station wagon. My mom was station wagon. My friend's family was minivan. You know,
They should find a way to make the station wagon cool again. Like,
it is cool again. It's there's so much fancy shit now in station wagons.
Well, like the Outback. Well, not. I don't think it's Outback. Maybe like the Subaru makes a relatively, you know, sporty looking station wagon. I know BMW also has a station wagon. NBD, no big deal.
BMW. Oh my god.
See, that'd be the way to go.
I'm not gonna afford that. No. No, my Hyundai is actually a phenomenal thing for hauling kids around, which I found out about a month ago when my buddy Nate, his car broke down and his wife and his kid were with him and wanted to know if I could help transport his wife and his kid home. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's fine. And I'm like, well, it's like, I don't know how to use the cart seat if you know how to install that. He's like, oh yeah, it's simple. Apparently my Hyundai Sonata has these special clips that just, you know, you can like take this car seat out simply and just clips into my car, so it's like ready to have a kid in there. So I'm like, oh, that's pretty sweet.
Yeah, Nick's talking about his fancy Honda Sonata or Hyundai Sonata having the child seat clips, which he doesn't know, but he doesn't know that every single car has those.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
I feel
like every
weird.
single car made after like probably 1998 has them.
I doubt my Oldsmobile had them.
Well, was your Oldsmobile like a 90s?
Oh no, it was a 96. You're right. Okay, so
that was a great car, by the way.
Oh yeah, the Oldsmobile was great.
That was the boat.
And yeah, I remember you puked outside of it.
Yeah.
Outside of the dorms.
Yeah. Now, in your family, is it more prevalent to have multi kids in a family, especially the Filipino side? Not making judgments.
No. It's both sides of my family. I think my mom was the odd duck, and my mom's side, everyone had two kids. All my aunts and uncles each had two kids. all within 2 years apart. And the Filipino side, there's definitely at least 2 kids per family household. I think I have family in Texas that makes 3.
And their middle names are all Pacquiao.
Pacquiao was not famous yet, no.
Oh, who is the most famous Filipino before Pacquiao?
It was probably a dictator. It was probably a fucking dictator, fucking Ferdinand Marcos or something. I don't think there's.
Oh yeah.
I don't think a lot of actor wise. I don't think a lot of. I mean, Lou Diamond Phillips, I think, is half Filipino, so I'll take that. I love Lou Diamond Phillips. La Bamba was a great movie, but Rob Schneider is half Filipino, but I don't think people like to admit that. I don't think they had many athletes. Yeah, I would have to say the most famous Filipinos that before Pacquiao were probably dictators or corrupt politicians.
Oh, there you go. And I also want to make sure that being financially stable. I feel like the more financially well off a family is, the less likely they are to have like 7 kids, which is weird because they can afford having 7 kids running around the household. Except you'll see like rich families a lot 2 kids. Like that would be the way to go. 2 kids, maybe even 1 kid, and then you'll see that. But then if you go down the spectrum, and then you see some lower level income families, and then all of a sudden 7 kids.
It just doesn't make sense. I don't know. For the times when I'm at visiting family, and watching like the TLC every once in a while flashing through, I mean, they show there are those parents who have the multiple like 4+ kids, up to 7,
Octomom.
Like, I mean, they know how to, like, a lot of them actually do know how to, like, stretch their budget. The whole coupon queen thing, which we all consider a giant joke. I mean, there are people who are taking advantage of that and who know how to, stretch the dollar and, be able to provide for those kids. It's crazy.
Yeah. But let's be honest. A lot of them do not.
Oh, yeah, a lot of them don't. No, not at all. Yeah, that's scary.
The mom smoking a pack of Pall Malls. Got the 8th kid on the way.
Oh, that's sad.
She's only smoking because she wants the baby to be skinnier and maybe they'll eat less. Oh, that's terrible.
You should edit that.
Now the whole terribleness, that's not a whole cloth, because I think there was what was it? It might have been from like the 80s. Then I think they were interviewing a tobacco executive, and they're talking about, this is the first time when like smoking was like really being introduced into the lexicon of that's bad for your health. And then the reporter was like, did you know that birth weights for children of smokers are lower than that of normal ones? And then the executive was like, well, there'll be some women who would like a skinnier baby or a smaller baby.
No.
I need to find that now. I think it was on Last Week Tonight or something.
Well, skinny babies, man, make, wow, that's...
Yeah,
but a little bit of a tangent then. What?
Yeah, it's fine.
What are we talking
but as far as like Muggsy having brothers and sisters, I definitely like that idea. I like the idea of them being relatively close in age, where it doesn't feel like the annoying little brother running around, the annoying little sister who's trying to hang out with their friends. That doesn't really work out. But the one little caveat is, in our neighborhood is the wife's cousin and her husband, and they have 2 young girls as well, which are basically, one is 7 months older than Muggsy, and one is 2 months younger. So Muggsy's got like a nice little sandwich of like built-in lady friends.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of nice, and that makes me think twice about, maybe we'll wait 2-3 years for another kid.
No, that makes sense. I mean, having them so close. I mean, we're in age where where you guys live isn't too far from them, and they can easily spend a lot of quality time together.
Plus, next one's gonna be a boy, anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
It's I wonder. My brother and sister-in-law, they're expecting again, and like I don't know. They have 2 girls right now. I mean. Oh man, could you imagine 3 girls?
Your brother's gonna have to buy a 5-bedroom, 17-bath house.
And all of them will be full still.
Yep. That's good. I didn't know that you're gonna be an uncle again. Well, for the first time.
Yeah, for the first time. Thank you. Yep.
You root for a boy?
I think it'd be a change of pace. I mean, definitely would love another girl too. I don't know. I think I think Nate might want a boy. Obviously, more for I mean, I figure like they want to change it up a little bit. 2 girls, but
well, I can guarantee that my next kid's gonna be a boy because I have that kind of control.
You have the control.
Yeah.
I don't feel like the parents have any control. I feel like that's all the biology and science and stuff.
Well, no, it's like a pitcher chooses between a fastball and the curveball. I mean, when we had a girl, we went with the fastball. Next one, we'll go with the curve, and we'll throw the Y chromosome in there.
Yeah, you just throw that Y chromosome over there.
Just to change things up. Now, talking about like giant families, like taking the Duggars out because they're weird stuff, but families with 5, 6, 7 kids, like from the TV sitcom, 8 is enough. Is that what in there? Like what's some other TV families with
I'm
big?
Thinking of like Step by Step. Obviously the Brady Bunch. I mean that's putting together the whole idea of a blended family.
Yep. Oh, the Brady Bunch was remade today. It would be a blended interracial family.
Oh yeah.
Because it would have to be.
And the brothers and sisters would get it on. That's what they do now.
Oh, that's gross. That's too far, Nick. That's too far. Like, if the cast of Step by Step started making out, that would really throw a wrench in the TGIF lineup.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Yeah. Now, but I feel like that's really portrayed a lot on television, the large family dynamic, except, I don't know. I feel like that'd be kind of weird.
I mean, okay, from a TV perspective, in my opinion, because I watch and listen to TV all the time, is that if we're trying to get an audience, you're trying to make people be relatable to these characters. So you have those big families because then the kids who watch it are going to look for these shows and be like, oh, I'm relatable to the nerdy kid who studies hard at school, or like the kid who's like, oh, I'm related to the popular one who's so self-centered and wants to be on the phone the whole time. From a TV perspective, I think that's more of a money-making thing and not so much real reality.
Yeah, I don't even remember like half of the kids that are on the Cosby Show.
Well, I mean, there was more than one reincarnation of the Cosby Show. So, I mean, there was a Rudy, there was Malcolm Jamal Warner's character. I forgot what his name was, Tito or something.
Well, like take our friend Emily, and I think she has 10 brothers and sisters, maybe, and they vary in age from like 43 to probably 25. So that's quite a stretch.
Holy shit! Really?
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Yeah, gigantic family, and if you have enough people, if you have enough siblings where you could play 5-on-5 basketball, I don't know. It seems kind of weird.
I'm looking at it from a financial cost. I mean, obviously they have to eat every day. Schools, I mean, sure if you're going to public schools, you'll save money there. But what if they want to go to college? What if these parents are going to try to help pay?
Well, they were farmers, so they just saw it as more free labor.
Oh, okay. So that's a special case scenario where you're hiring kids so they can do work.
Yeah, they weren't like Octomom. We're like, hey, let's have 14 kids so we can get on TV, maybe. Oh, no one wants to watch our show? Oh, okay. I guess we're kind of screwed.
I can't believe people do watch those shows.
I can't believe how many stupid shows there are on television and people watch. And this goes back to our argument from earlier in the week about the baby slut clothesline, where it's a completely terrible idea, except that people will buy it because people are idiots.
So we're just surrounded by idiots. It's like the movie Idiocracy.
Yeah.
And idiots.
See, that's the thing. It's like if you start a great company and you become a billionaire by pandering and marketing to these idiots who are very quick to part ways with their money.
Which is insane. Which just doesn't make any sense.
Baby slut. Yeah, maybe that's too far.
The baby slut line.
Now, do you wish that you had had like a little brother or little sister, or were you okay being the runt of the litter?
I was okay being the runt of the litter. I was a spoiled little brat, so who liked attention. So I mean, I growing up the way I did, I had neighborhood friends who I'm still friends with actually now.
How many times did your brother beat the hell out of you?
I have no memories of him ever.
That's because he beat you so bad.
He kicked my ass so hard.
Bite the curb, Nick. Bite the curb.
No, I don't want to bite the curb. Bite it.
That's a little too far. Yeah, as an only adopted child, I actually really kind of wish I would have had a sibling. Relatively close in age that could have hung out with, roughhoused, and could have been like a confidant. Now at this age, because like you and your brother now, I see the wife and her brother and sister now. It's just like they got a built-in consigliere, whereas I'm just Andy. It's out here.
I think from a parent's perspective, I think that'd be the scary thing about having multiple kids, because then you have because now you have like multiple. Now you have a gang. You have an army who could turn against you and keep each other's secrets, because obviously from a kid's perspective, the parents are the bad guys sometimes. And
yeah, you got the four kids together. We got to get mom and dad in the home. Mom and dad are only 36. Oh. Or the Menendez brother, yeah.
Menendez brother. Oh.
That one is not too soon. That one happened in the 90s.
Oh yeah, that was so early 90s.
Yeah. And just think about it, since I am adopted, chances are I probably have a bunch of half brothers or half sisters out there. I'm gonna find them one day.
Oh, I'm sure there's a website or an app you can be able to find that.
See, I could go by mugshots or profile pictures, but we all look the same.
So there's gonna be a lot of expensive blood testing.
And then it just turns out we're all related to Genghis Khan.
Which is a very, very true statement. It could be very true.
It really, God, I want to say it's 25% of all like mainland Asianers can trace their roots back to Genghis Khan.
Which is phenomenal. That's what I want people to say about me, a couple hundred years from now.
You know what I want people to say? The deeB podcast is really awesome, especially to your friends, your family, your loved ones, and be like, these two guys just come on, talk about random parenting tips, and usually tangent off about how many kids Genghis Khan has because he raped so many people on his conquest.
He conquested more ways than one.
Too soon. Also, Amazon, top left corner, deeB Pod. Click through our banner. It'll take you to Amazon through our link. Bookmark that and just buy all of your beautiful Amazon stuff. Like Nick is going to buy some Hyundai Sonata baby seat clips just for backups.
I definitely knew that. I could use a new floor mat for my Hyundai, actually.
Floor mats, and do what Nick does. Buy it through our Amazon link and we'll get a little taste. And you're going to do it anyways. Why not do it under our banner? So get that on. All right, Nick, any closing thoughts on single kid versus multi-kids?
With families nowadays, I mean, whether you're a single kid, you have the love of family no matter what. And, you always have a group of friends typically, growing up. So, I mean, for those of us who've only been kind of, who are the single kid parents, who might not have the fun that the brothers and sisters have of the multi-kid families, there's nothing wrong with that. You're going to turn out fine no matter what, as long as you have love.
I mean, look at Nick.
I turned out okay.
I will say the nice thing about being a single kid is that Christmas was awesome.
Don't have to worry about fighting with your brother or sister who got the better toy.
Yeah, absolutely. Plus, when I got my Super Nintendo, it was all mine.
Yeah, Super Nintendo.
Yeah, Super Nintendo Kid. Show is available on iTunes. Follow us on Twitter at DadModePod, me at Andy Carlson Show, or Nick at Nick Sun. Website is dadmodepod.com. Be a man, be a father, go dad mode, and we'll see you next time. Ba-da-ba.
Think the episode you just heard is worth $1? Well, send it our way. Visit dadmodepod.com/support to find out how. Be a man, be a father. Go dad mode. The music is created and produced by deeB. To hear more of his tracks, visit soundcloud.com/deeB.